Hello, this is our weekly market alert video for the week ended July 24th, 2020. And once again, it's all about the pandemic. It's all about COVID. It's about the effects of that on the economy and the response by the government. Those are all the things that are driving investor sentiment, in our opinion. And so that's what it seems to be all about. So let's kind of go over that. As I'm sure you know, the number of deaths nationally have been rising. If you look at the chart, it had been declining, but it's starting to trend back upward again. And of course, that's concerning. And so there is a concern that we're going to start shutting parts of the economy down and having more unemployment. And of course, those are real fears. And so the stock market, the S&P 500 index, experienced some downside because of that. Our take on it is that it all depends on what the Fed does and what the Congress does. If they are willing to continue to finance the economy until we get past this, if they have an open checkbook on all of this, then we think the markets will play through it. If we have banks that are looking at loans and mortgages and others that aren't being paid, and the Federal Reserve is willing to write $2 trillion worth of checks to support the banks, then the banks will be okay. Therefore, the bond market also should be okay, and therefore no worries despite all the bad news. And then on the unemployment side, as we've seen, if Congress is willing to give people money to keep them going between now and whenever all this passes, then they should continue to have purchasing power and keep the economy going from that standpoint as well. So because of all of those things, we remain cautiously bullish. And so unless the Congress decides not to give people any money anymore for unemployment, we don't believe that's the case. In fact, they're negotiating, but they will come to an agreement on that. We're very confident. The Federal Reserve has said we have an open checkbook. So $20 trillion, here we come, no problem. And so because of those things, we continue to have confidence that things should be relatively okay, with bumps along the way, to be sure, between now and the election. The fly in the ointment and what could cause all of this to go wrong, of course, is if the Fed and if the Congress do not deliver on the unlimited checkbook. If that doesn't happen, then we could see, as we did, I believe it was in 2013, the taper tantrum. This was when the Federal Reserve said that they were no longer going to do quantitative easing. They were going to taper it down. And we saw the bond market and the stock market react very negatively to that. And it was now named the taper tantrum. And so because of that event, we believe the Fed and the government learned from that you don't suddenly announce that you're going to stop. And in fact, we don't believe they will. They're painted themselves in a corner at this point, and trillions of dollars, here we come. So the consequences of this will probably be felt at some point, and maybe it's our kids and grandchildren who'll be paying very high taxes to repay all this stuff. But in the short run, the government is determined to save the economy and bridge the gap between now and when hopefully we have a treatment or a vaccine or some way to deal with this virus. So here we sit. We are going to be revisiting our next decision with regard to, we're talking about it now, so we're not waiting till the last minute, but we'll be announcing in the first week in August, that's our plan right now, what our intentions are and where we sit. It's going to be dependent, as we said, on what the government does and what profits look like. And both, we think, should be improved, the profits improving and the government continuing to fund. That being the case, things don't look so bad despite how terrible the economy and people's lives are right now. So we'll keep you posted as we go. Again, thank you so much for letting us be your guide through these terrible, uncertain times. We, in every way want you not to worry about this. That's our job. We want you to, as much as, I'll tell you funny in the middle of all of this, talking to We were talking about how our goal is for you to enjoy your second childhood without parental supervision. And a person said, yeah, well, this is my second childhood, except I've been grounded. So makes sense, right? Anyway, so we hope that you are staying sane. We hope you're staying healthy. And again, we thank you for letting us be your worrying about this for you so that you don't have to. Our goals always are for you to have financial peace of mind and for your money to last as long as you do. And everything we do is geared around making that happen. So thank you, and we'll talk soon.